Great.
Welcome to Sisters in Thought. We're very happy to have you here. Can you tell us, introduce yourself and tell us where you're coming to us from?
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. My name's Cannon Pence, and I have what do you call it, like nom de plume, the performing artist name of Twilark. And I'm joining from Raleigh, North Carolina, where I live. You're in Nashville, is that right?
We're actually in Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah, we
Oh,
just have a
oh, okay.
clever email name, which is Nashville Hot Chicken Music.
Okay.
It's just
Okay.
it's fun. That's all right. Yes. So tell us how about the name Twilark. How did that come to be, and where did you make that up from?
Yeah, so I did bands in high school and college. At the high school one, I don't know, I felt serious. I don't know whether it was serious. I think we could have been something. But anyway, then I just kind of set music aside largely for, I don't know, 20 years and focused on life and profession. And then I started putting music back together or doing music for myself, maybe now like 8 years ago or something, which was really like, I know this is like a really roundabout way of getting to your actual question. I
That's
haven't
all
forgotten.
right.
Um, and it was really just like as a creative exercise that sort of turned into kind of creative art therapy kind of thing, music therapy. It was really just for me. And then a few years ago, I was like, starting to have confidence in songs, and I thought maybe I could put something out. Um, and then I got more serious about it over another year. But I didn't want to do it under my own name specific, I wanted to have like a project name. And that proved actually quite difficult. I, what I wanted, I was like, you want something that's easy to say, easy to pronounce, easy to spell from memory or from hearing it. Something that's like um, inoffensive and that like ideally at least like loosely evocative of the kind of music. Like it could be a great name, but it sounds like a metal band, and that would
Sure.
give people the wrong impression. And so I came up with a bunch of options. I shared them with friends, and this was a terrible idea because I got like passionate opposing answers everywhere. So I made
Of
a
course,
chart and I'm
as you
like,
do.
this is a disaster. Like everything's like, like people love and hate the same names. I'm like, oh no, because it's really hard once you have people you know and trust that people close in your life who are like, oh, definitely don't pick that one. It's hard to do because you're like, oh no, she hates it. And so then I kind of went back to the drawing board and I had it in mind, and it was in a dream. I I don't know. I mean, I don't remember the whole dream. I usually don't. But in the dream, I came up with the name Twilark, and I was like, and this was still in the dream. I was like, oh, that's a good one. That works. And then I woke up and I was like, oh wow, I think I named the band in my dream, and I'm gonna stick with it. Why? It doesn't have a, a strong story behind it. I thought it met this criteria that I listed before, and it it's sort of reminiscent of twilight or evening or darkness, and
Mhm.
a, the bird, like a meadowlark or the various kind of lark birds. I'm a bird enthusiast, and there's an old jazz standard that I think can be really pretty called Skylark. And so it just felt right to me. And that's what we have. Yeah, there you
I
go.
love it. I love it. And that it came in a dream. I think that would feel right. I
Yes.
think that's really, really cool.
Oh,
Did
so
you pull it
relieved.
out?
What's that?
Did you pull it out to the audience again?
No, I did not. I did not. I was
Good
like,
for you.
I can't. What? Because I don't. It's that
You
experience of
weren't.
having people you know and love who are like, please don't. You know, I don't want to know.
Oh my gosh. Love it. So I know that this is your debut album and it's been
Uh,
coming for a few years. You've been working on your songs
yeah.
for a while. Tell us, like, How did it all come to be?
Um, I decided with some encouragement of people close to me, okay, I think I actually want to do this. And I had some time away from work, and I'm like, what could I do that would be the most kind of special way of like a thing that would be really hard to do normally. Like you can travel, I can travel even when I'm working in theory. Making an album, boy, that sounds like quite an undertaking. So I was like, okay, this is going to be my project. I know nothing, nothing. I have songs, like just me and the guitar. And so I like, I need help. And I reached, so then I was thinking like, who could I work with? I want people that are really exciting to me to work with, but also theoretically attainable. You know, like I'm not gonna like. There's all kinds of people that you love to work with, but you're like, who's gonna work with somebody that no one has ever heard of? So I'm like, okay, I gotta shoot. So kind of like not mega famous or popular artists that are like really dear to me.
Mhm.
Who and I reached out to two people. And one of them had just put out my favorite album of that year, Dominic Billet, and his that I mean that's still one of my favorite albums of all time. And then I reached out to Zach Little, who's the main guy from the band Saint Seneca, one of my favorite bands just of all time, and certainly like a currently practicing band. All of his albums are wonderful. And one of his an album that he had produced was one of my favorite albums of that year also. So I sort of knew he could do both. So I
Yeah.
reached out to both. I didn't hear from Dom, and I heard from Zach, and Zach was basically he was in. It took some conversation, but I was like, boom, done, we got it. And then like 2 months later, I heard from Dom, and he's like, oh yeah, maybe. And I'm like, I think I'm working with Zach, so maybe another time, you know. And then we were talking about studios. Where do we go? Looking at studios in Ohio where Zach was based. Nothing quite felt right. He's like, well, maybe we could go further afield. He talked about Philly or I forget where else, but Chicago, or he mentioned Nashville. And then right when he said Nashville, a light went off in my head, and I was like, "Ah, that's where Dom is based." And I thought, oh, is it possible I could work with both of them? And I was nervous. There's something I was like that being on the cusp of that thing that felt so right. It made me nervous to like ask or try and make it work. It did. And so I was able to make the record with both of the people that I really wanted to work with one of. And I wouldn't know how to, in retrospect, I don't know how it would have worked without them, both of
Without them?
them.
Yeah.
And so the recording project, the sessions were the three of us plus the recording engineer, Jack, in a studio in Nashville. And it was like a long song selection process because I've been writing a long time or a number of years, and coming in with songs, just me and acoustic guitar, and so then in the studio fleshing out the like rest of it or much of the rest of it, which was all new to me, all new to me. But awesome. Yeah, it worked great. And that out of that came we did 16 songs and the album has 10. And then three are on an EP that is like half out now. The rest comes out next week.
Very
Hey.
cool. And I love how everything just kind of fell together.
Right?
That's fantastic.
Oh, it was it just felt so right. And it was. Lucky me.
Yeah.
And lucky us, lucky
Yeah,
listeners.
absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about your songwriting process. When you write, do you feel like you gravitate more towards starting with a melody or starting with the lyrics first?
It really varies. So sometimes I will make notes, just like lyric ideas. I find often the best ones come in connection with like when you should be sleeping. And so you have these ideas, and you're like, I don't want to turn on a light. I don't want to. I'll try and remember.
Yeah.
Terrible. You'll never remember for sure, guaranteed. And but maybe three-fourths of the time it's still bad, and so then you kind of like are not happy you did it. But then some of the time it works, and so I'll have lyrics that I just like or lyric ideas, I guess. And then maybe I'm messing around on guitar and I have a thing I like, uh, and then I try and look through lyric options that kind of fit with it. Other times it's more spontaneous. I kind of find that tends towards a better song if it comes spontaneously. In one song, which isn't on the album, uh, but it has been recorded now. But there was a powerful moment where I had this emotionally loaded telephone conversation, and there were kind of resonant things that were said in the call. That and I got off the call, and even though like I hadn't eaten, and it was now like evening time, I was like, I need to capture this, and I just because it was not just the memories, the feelings in the moment. And I wrote, I think, one of my best songs there in one sitting. And so sometimes it's uh, really spontaneous, and sometimes you're just sort of um, coming, just letting words flow out. And those tend to, even if you think that they're not meaningful, they tend to have meaning, sort of like the Rorschach test,
Yeah. Yeah. It's really cool how you say, you're talking about writing things coming to you when you should be sleeping, and
Yep.
then the name came to you in a dream,
Yes.
and it's kind of all this dreamscape. I love it.
Yeah, a lot of recent songs, which will be, I hope, third album songs, talk about sleep. It's just sort of a recent theme. Um,
Do you ever get writer's block? And if you do, how do you get out of it?
so I've made two albums now, recorded two albums, and I now know that I won't write, or I'll have a hard time writing for a few months after that, the recording session. So now I know better about it. And usually what happens is I'll write something if I really like it, and I'm like, this is the best. This like it's like the best feeling, or one of the very best feelings in the world, is feeling like, yes, yes, I got a good song. And that'll last for a while. And then if I haven't written after a while, like 2 months or three, I'm like, I'll never write a song again. This is the end.
Yeah.
It's over. And people that are close to me are like, okay, how many times have I heard this before? So I try and have patience with myself. So kind of, yes, I've learned to not force it that much, or try not to force it. But I do get itchy. I
Yeah.
get angst about not writing, because it's not like I feel like I need a certain number of songs. It's like an identity as a songwriter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When do you stop becoming a songwriter? How long has it been?
Yeah. Yeah.
And on that same vein, how do you know if a song is truly finished?
I'm really bad with editing. I remember a quote somebody else, or maybe it was Townes Van Zandt, about himself. He's, one of the greatest of all time, as you know, I presume.
Yeah.
Where he would he wanted the song to be perfect, so I think he would self-edit exhaustively.
Yeah.
And I'm really bad about that. I'm bad about that in most parts of my life. So I'll, have a thing that I write, and I'll let only very few people hear them. And if I get like it's a good start, and I'm like, oh, it's doomed. That's it, the end. Uh, and so I tend to go more for volume than um, the Townes Van Sant approach.
Yeah.
Um, maybe if I went with the Townes Van Sant approach, I would get the Townes Van Sant result. I don't know. Um, I have not gotten that far.
Or you could
Um,
self-edit yourself to death, right?
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just doesn't feel natural to me. I don't know. I just like write it and I get a feeling for it. Sometimes it'll be, there are things that will work is like there's a song on the second album that I wrote slow and it was suggested to me. Um, I think I could hear it like fast, and the fast version is on the album. And so those kind of things work for me. But
Yeah.
maybe it needs a different chorus. Is like forget it.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to write another chorus.
Do you think when you're writing, do you think more about what it means to you or what it might mean to the listeners?
Definitely me for sure. I started writing as an adult. I mentioned I thought creative exercise, really therapeutic exercise. And it was deeply personal, deeply intimate, um, often or frequently uncomfortably. So it didn't matter. No one was listening to it. Or maybe at three people that are close to me. And since I've started trying to be a public, or have music out in public, that's different now. I mean, it's still not that many people, but certainly more than three. And that I've made a rule for myself in this new era of my music. I must write, say, sing the true thing. And it's okay if I never share it. It's better to have that than not have the thing that's true to the um, impetus or the feeling of the song or the story behind it. I think in practice, the songs can be pretty dark and intimate, but I don't. It's not like the Lily Allen album, where people are like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's about this thing specifically." It's
Yep.
Left up to interpretation.
Yeah.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
And even for myself, I'm writing the thing that is right to me in the moment, but it's happened to me like years later. I'm like, oh, I know what that was about. So I'm interpreting it myself.
Oh,
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's
Yeah.
so, yeah, that retrospective look back at,
Mhm.
now I get what I was writing.
Yeah.
So when you are performing, a different vein, do you have any things like rituals or anything that you do that kind of gets you ready to go out on stage? Helps get the nerves out?
This is new to me. So like I've only like the album came out now it's no longer this year, but it came out in September. And so I haven't been performing since around then.
Mhm.
And I did maybe like 6 shows, maybe five last year, solo. I'm forming a band to be able to play locally and regionally. But um, I in my high school band, I was just a singer, not a guitar player, and now I'm playing solo. And so my main fear was fear that I was nervous about being nervous,
Yeah.
because in the like intervening years, I did like a house concert just like for friends, and I was really nervous, the kind where you're like your hands as you're trying to play guitar are shaking and people can hear it in your voice. And so I was
Yeah.
really worried about that. So my main hope was to not be stuck in that. And I'm really grateful that it's been pretty comfortable. So I feel like I'm not experienced enough to have the way I do it I'm just I'm learning how to do it. I'm like learning that it's a bad idea to make a restaurant reservation before the concert because you have to plan for the unknown.
Right.
And so I think I'm too green to be able to speak like a practiced hand.
Well, that means you just
That's
have to come
fair.
back on here in a
That's
couple
right.
of years when you're like old hat at this.
That's right.
But this is great
Yeah,
because
It is.
we have a lot of people who are new, like us,
Yeah.
and just hearing that perspective of somebody who's newer to it,
Yeah.
that just gives a whole different, because we've had people on here who have been doing it for 20 years,
Yep.
and now someone newer
Yep.
helps to have that other perspective. So thanks for sharing. Yeah, I
Yes.
like it.
And we know that you're self-taught. Do you
Yeah.
read music, or did you just play by ear?
Yeah, I was really discouraged from music growing up. Not like listening, but
Yeah.
as a pursuit.
Uh-huh.
Because with the notion that I should be focusing on academics, which happened. It didn't mean I wasn't interested. It just meant I didn't have lessons, no training. In fact, in my high school band, like for the first 2 years, it was in secret.
Gosh.
Because I wasn't allowed to do it. And then eventually, I think the fears were allayed, and we could talk about it eventually. But so no, I never learned, and I kind of so recording us in the studio, there are disadvantages of like not understanding the fundamentals of music in a traditional sense. Where like I'm like I don't know the name of this chord. I don't
Yeah.
know how to describe things, and I don't know what you guys are talking about. But I like, on the other hand, I like having um, everything being, what's it called, sui generis, like it comes from the self.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That there isn't, I'm influenced by what I'm influenced by. And I actually do care a lot about, I think the art that we create comes from the art that we consume and ourselves.
Yeah.
But you can't escape the art that you're surrounded by. And I do carefully curate, or to the extent that I can. I want to surround myself with art that I love. And I am careful to avoid that kind of um, super catchy kind of music label laboratory created
Mm-hmm.
music that can be like really fun, but I find that kind of thing can be poisonous to
Mhm.
creative process. So I want to surround myself, fill my head with art and music that I find authentic and challenging and really genuine indie artist creation. Um, but no, I don't have music background, so I just make shapes on the guitar and um,
I like
yeah.
it. So I know you mentioned Townes Van Sant. Who else would you say that you have kind of surrounded yourself with?
Um, Elliott Smith was a huge influence, and artists like Nick Drake, who few knew in his time. Elliott Smith, I was introduced to live back in the mid '90s, which was awesome. And artist Sparklehorst was a huge influence. Is it the case that I only follow tragically dead artists? No. Um, but modern artists, Fionn Reagan, Andy Schaaf, Dean Johnson is a huge hero of mine. That was a big Dean Johnson's first record was a huge influence for me, and that was a driver for me in terms of the genre that I'm sort of pointing towards and making it happen. He released his first album when he was 50, and
Awesome.
and Innocence Mission is another huge influence on me. I just adore Karen's music, and they've been out since the 80s, and they're making their best music now in the last 10 years. And who can say that? You know,
Yeah.
who 30 years into a career is putting out their best stuff? So it's inspiring, you know, to a sense. You could say like, oh, you know, I missed those opportunities when in my 20s. But now I can see artists that uh, haven't let that stop them. And there's
Yeah.
hopefully some wisdom and experience that comes through of value too. So yeah, I don't only listen to melancholic indie music. I also, you know, there's sort of challenging electronic music like Audiker, Aphex Twin, and some kinds of more obscure metal, ambient music. There's a lot. I grew up on goth music, so I grew up with Cure and Susie and Bauhaus and Cranes and stuff like Depeche Mode. So a lot of like I came out of like a goth music tradition. So pretty much everything I want it's like to make you cry, frown, or scowl. That's
Yeah.
pretty much.
Eclectic though. I
I love
love
it.
that. And it's so refreshing to hear somebody say you can look at somebody who's 50 who's just putting out their
Yes.
best music, because that just is hopeful for people who are, you know, not in their 20s anymore
Yep.
and can do this. They can
Yep.
It doesn't have to be that you are the like top selling artist, you're not Taylor Swift, but you're still doing what you love. And to me, that's the whole point of it anyway.
Yep.
So I love it. I love it. Should we do our rapid fire?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got some rapid fire questions for you today. They're
I'll
just
try.
off the cuff, whatever you want to answer. So first of all, is coffee or tea?
Oh my gosh, I love both. I had like insomnia in like I mentioned songwriting was therapeutic. I had some tough times in the like, you know, 2016, 17. I had insomnia is one of the things, and I started drinking coffee the first time in my life. And it was just kind of like a necessity. I drank tea a lot. This is tea right now. Also, side note, I love the side eye on this bunny.
I just love your mug. I was like, what was that mug?
I got this
Dog.
because of the side eye. He's like,
Yeah.
It reminds me of my dog because she does that, and I call her the judge because she looks at you and this. I'm like, she's judging me again.
so I drink tea. I drink a cup of coffee. But I have ritual around both. I do a like lovely little you know, single origin roast pour over in the morning of coffee, and then I'll do a pot of this is a Chinese white tea, but usually Asian green or white or like oolong teas. I love both very, very much.
I do too. Okay, vinyl, cassette, CD, or streaming?
Um, None of the above. How about that?
right,
But I
that's
still
fine.
listen to music. So I just missed the vinyl. Like I was post vinyl as a child.
Yeah.
Post and pre vinyl, I guess. The So cassettes as a young kid, I was really into music early, and that was in the form of cassettes. And then I spent all of my money on CDs, like every cent I could get. Like I didn't eat lunch in high school
Oh,
to take that money and put it towards a CD. So you could get like one every other week, you know.
yeah.
And I think I had thousands, a couple thousand CDs. But as you get older and life gets more complicated, that's a lot. And I'm killing the rapid part of your rapid fire. The
Okay.
I just needed the space. I couldn't have room in my life for thousands of
Yeah.
CDs. But I really didn't want to take it to to break up the collection. So I ended up donating it to a library system where in Asheville, where they do music. And so I felt like donating an art collection to a museum, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was really happy about that outcome. And you know, you still get like a tax donation, a benefit. And um, since then, I have that collector it's like an addiction within me, and I'm really wary. Like I can't just like, oh, I'll have a few records.
Mm.
No. If I'm getting records, I've got to have like all of the ones that are most special
Mhm.
to me, which is endless.
Yes.
And so, but I also dislike, I mean, most artists do, or I'll say the streaming industry is
Yeah.
problematic for the arts. And I'm in a position where I can support artists, and I want to do that. So I buy digital. So
Nice.
so Bandcamp wherever possible. I adore Bandcamp. Huge fan of what they do and what they offer to the artist community. It's the best place to support artists, and
Mhm.
I'm able to buy digital. So I will download digital copies. I will, you can stream on Bandcamp, and for the stuff that aren't on there, and you can. So I will stream like as a secondary thing. Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense. And that's actually really
Yeah, we
a
need to
cool
add
idea.
digital.
We're terrible. We have the vinyl disease
Yeah.
that we're like, oh, I have one now. I need all of them.
And every time you go, you find more that you go, oh, I don't
I know.
have that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, first album you ever bought, if you remember.
I think it was Joshua Tree. It was Joshua Tree. Yeah, YouTube. I was like really big into YouTube in like I still adore Under a Blood Red Sky, which was their like 1982 Live at Red Rocks album. But like in elementary school, I was big into U2. That was followed by The Cure. So by like sixth grade, I think Cure was my favorite band. My first
Okay.
CD was Cure.
Oh, yes. Let's Cure. Okay.
Okay.
Do you have a go-to karaoke song?
I really love Stray Cat Strut. Yeah, that would probably be my yeah. Yeah,
That's
I can
fun.
really
I'd like to see it.
I can sell that one. Other ones I can do Pointer Sisters, Automatic.
Still
You
really
know,
fun.
I can do, Pulp or
Oh.
like Strokes. Those are fun. Phoenix. So Phoenix is like that's like it's a little bit of a show off one because he's quite hard to do the he sings very quickly with a little bit
Yeah.
of an unusual like diction. And so that one yeah, if I was trying to impress people, I might do Phoenix.
I love it. Love it. Do you tend to write lyrics on paper, phone notes, or voice memos?
Phone notes. Yeah. So I have like a note taking app because that way you kind of have it everywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. For pet, dog, cat, fish, birds, or reptiles?
Dog, dog for sure. My RIP Matilda.
Oh.
She died not now the year before last year, but she was almost 20, almost
Oh my
20.
gosh.
Oh, what
Yeah, and I
kind?
have she's a Basset mix. So she was a brindle Basset.
Oh.
So it was a Basset and Plot Hound, which is the
Yeah.
state dog of North Carolina. Basset, and she's the sweetest girl. She was the best. And I have like a song that's maybe too sad to ever
Oh.
release about when she died. Yeah.
Oh.
I've been told too sad to release.
Okay. Yes, we're dog people.
Oh, yeah.
Dog people, so we get it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Describe your sound in 3 words.
Gosh, I'm so bad at that.
Around 3.
I think melancholic, intimate. Um, I think it's indie, if that counts as describing the sound. I'm told my vocals have a plaintive quality, and I love that word.
Okay. I like that too.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. What advice would you give to new songwriters or musicians?
I feel like I'm probably the wrong person to ask for advice since I'm so new at everything and I'm just learning everything. But for me, I think it was really useful to write for myself and without, I think it's dangerous to write for with regards to goals. I'm sure that there are people who are awesome at it. So, whatever works for people. But like, I think it's best for the songs if they come from an authentic place that sort of generates themselves, and then you can figure out what to do with it. So like I mentioned I had 16 songs from the first album session, 10 on the album, 3 on the EP. That's like one song's out, 2 more next week. That leaves 3. And those songs I love them, they're really wonderful, but like they kind of haven't fit with I'm going in this kind of indie folk. The second album will be almost like indie Americana, really. And I don't know what's going to happen to them. I hope I'll release them eventually. But I'm so glad that I have them, and so I wouldn't have recorded them. I wouldn't have written them if I had this current direction of Twilark in mind. And I feel like those are the kind of things you can worry about later. Write for yourself, write for the songs, and don't let the kind of, it's really like business direction or marketing direction be fully secondary to the music.
Yeah, that's great.
That's great. Yeah.
Another lesson I learned from Zach is don't put too much pressure on songs. That's advice. That one is not my advice. It's Zach speaking through me. But you asked about advice to artists. Absolutely. I've done 2 albums now. Both times the songs that I'm like, this is the one. Nope. Don't put too much pressure on songs. Anyway.
Okay, now it's time for your shameless plug. Where can we find your music? Any sort of website, your Bandcamp, Patreon, anything like that?
Yeah. So I've got a link tree. We can get you the links. I won't try to spell it out for you. But that has everything organized. I think Bandcamp is the best. So it's Twilark .bandcamp, I think is how they work. But anyway, we'll get you the link. Because I love Bandcamp. It's the best place to support artists because you can curate your own presentation. You're not stuck within, the big streaming platforms and how they want you to be. And you can sell merchandise if you have it. You can sell physical if you have it. And artists actually get like 80%. Do I work for Bandcamp? I don't. Would I? Maybe. Anyway, but artists get like they get 80% of what approximately what fans pay, and there's nowhere else like that. And you can communicate with the fans. So I'm on all of the streaming platforms, and I encourage people to check me out there on Instagram. But if you want to like sign up for a mailing list, following on Bandcamp is the way to go. And Instagram is the one that has the most frequent, like kind of if I'm playing a show or nonsense, various kinds of nonsense on there also.
Quick question to clarify. Is it under Twilark or is it under Canon?
Twilark, yeah.
Twilark, perfect. Okay, we just want our listeners to be able to find you.
Yeah.
So I want to say a humongous thank you for coming on tonight and just chatting with us. It's so refreshing to hear somebody else that's kind of starting out and, teaching themselves. And it has been fantastic to learn all about you and your music. And we will be promoting you all over our socials.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you both. I'm grateful for the opportunity to talk about it. So thanks for having me.